Well,
Welcome to the undrafted, uncensored cast of Pod. Hosted by Nick Archuleta. Mosted by Colin Zanker. And last but certainly is least, Joseph Goodwin.
oh, that's right, everybody. It's Undrafted Uncensored. It's late night. I'm Colin Zanker. I'm rolling solo right now because, unlike the Rockies, I definitely want to talk about what the hell is going on. And if you're not aware of what I'm talking about, it's what the Rockies aren't going to talk about, according to their Twitter, after a 21 to nothing blowout, shutout, complete game against the San Diego Padres. Great meme, great time. It's Belichick in his interview with his worn out Navy shirt saying, "We're not going to talk about this." Posted 8:46 p.m. So what's that? 2 hours and 15 minutes ago or so. They decided to post this after what was a terrible game for the Rockies as they got obliterated. Not since Andy Ashby, former Colorado Rocky, really blew them out. Have they had something like this happen? And I'm pissed. I'm annoyed. I'm over it. I know I've talked about my whole tour, my watching the Rockies on the road, my love of baseball, my passion for the game of baseball, my passion for baseball in Colorado. It all runs so deep. And tonight, watching this game, while I'm at the station, working what was a really exciting Warriors and Timberwolves playoff game, I couldn't take my eyes off the train wreck that was the Colorado Rockies tonight. Absolutely disgusted and annoyed. And I'm at a breaking point with this team. There are some people out there who have very short fuses. I've experienced that recently with someone. Short fuses. Like you don't know what the littlest thing is that's going to piss them off. It could be something so inconsequential, such a little comment that it doesn't have any impact on anything. You could be, you could be joking around, having fun, and you say the wrong things, and someone flips out when you're having a good time. Someone could be having a bad day, and you say the wrong damn thing, and it pisses them off. You know what? I'm not one of those people. I don't get rattled that easily. But the Rockies rattled me tonight. I mean, I am shook up about what the hell is going on with this team and this organization and the lack of care, the lack of attitude, the lack of even try, it feels like sometimes from this squad. I mean, they were down 5-0 after the first inning. I believe it was 5-0. And it got worse from there. It got much worse from there. I put out online in the fifth, sixth inning, I believe. Yeah, it had to be the sixth inning or the top of the fifth inning or bottom of the fifth inning that they were down 19-0. And that today had to be the day that Bud Black goes. And then I see after the game, after a 21-0 absolute spanking, that the team is trying hard, that they're working hard. Well, you know what? Whatever you're working, you're not doing it right, Rockies. Your team isn't playing on the field. You're not playing as a unit. And this isn't going to be, part of it's going to be the get rid of the Monfort whole thing, because I do believe this started early on in the year, in spring training, even before spring training. And it's happened the last few years. When Monfort comes out and says, we can't compete, that's a loser's damn mentality. It's a loser's mentality. We can't compete. We don't deserve. Why do you even play the game if you don't deserve to be on this field with these players? You take the field, you put on your uniforms, and you go out and you put in some effort. And these guys aren't putting in the effort because I think the management has told them from start to finish that you can't win here. You can't be successful here. You're going to struggle to be successful. Instead of, there's going to be struggles. There's going to be tough times. Things are going to happen. Quirky things are going to happen at Coors Field. Very quirky things happen at Coors Field. I think anyone who's watched games at Coors Field knows that really weird stuff can happen here. Yeah, 20-run games happen. But usually, it's not one damn team scoring them. And in the past, if it has been a single team scoring 20 runs, it's been the Colorado damn Rockies. They've been putting runs on the board. This team right now is led by Jordan Beck, who has 6 home runs, who's been on the IL, the 10-day IL, since the 29th of May. He's still your home run leader. I'm beyond. Or I say the 29th of May. I misspoke on that. He's been on January, February, March, April, May, April 29th. Excuse me. He has 6 home runs on a squad that is. I think this squad is more talented than they get credit for. But I think that they've been sold a bill of lies that you can't be successful in Colorado. And all that oh man, Jordan Beck, excuse me. He is not on the 10-day IL. My mistake. But all that's been told to these guys is that they can't win. They can't win. They can't win. And it sucks. Because I think these guys are seeing and letting things come to fruition because they've been told it over and over again. And now they're starting to believe that they can't be successful at this level. When you continuously tell someone that they're wrong, that they're not going to be successful, that they're going to fail over and over again, it takes a very strong mental person to overcome those things. Can you? Yes. But as a squad, you start to get into a group mentality. It happened with the Nuggets at the end of the year when they fired Coach Michael Malone. The locker room was quiet. I can't believe that the locker room was anything but crickets after this game. After getting blown out. A complete game shutout by the Padres. Yes, the Rockies face this team multiple times a year, more times than others. And when you're a bad team, you're going to lose against the Padres and your division foes a lot more often. But it shouldn't happen like this. And it shouldn't keep happening after a series with the Tigers where you got smoked all damn weekend. You got your asses handed to you. And you have no fire coming out. You have no passion on the field. You give up 5 runs in the first inning and it's over. Yeah, it's a tough hill to climb, especially with the Rockies bullpen. But you're over it. I love Bud Black. I've cheered for Bud Black. I've championed Bud Black. I think he's really done a great job with the pitching staff and what he's been given. We talked about the start of the season with how well the starting pitchers were doing for the Rockies, and the bullpen was blowing it. But you know what? Losing is contagious. And the only person who doesn't seem to catch this bug, is Bud or Monfort. I don't know if Bud Black has something on the Monforts. I don't know if Bill Schmidt coming out and saying that the guys are trying hard. You know, coaches have gotten fired for less. Look at the Pittsburgh Pirates. They just fired their manager, and 2 games in, their manager gets thrown out in the 2nd inning today, I believe. When you have a talent like Paul Skeens on that team, you know you're in a mid to small market. You have to strike while the iron is hot. The iron, there's no iron in this team. I mean, they're soft as aluminum cans right now because you've screwed up their mentality so much in this game that is, Yogi Berra, the Yogi Berra quote of, this game is excuse me, not this game is half mental. Oh my God, why am I, it's 80% mental. Oh my goodness, why, oh yeah, 90% mental, the other half is physical. I was going to say 80%. And these guys are mentally screwed over. And I think they're mentally screwed over from management and management not making consistent changes. What's going to happen? They put Clint Hurdle in the hitting coach position 2 weeks ago. No, I don't have the exact date. That all he is a coach in waiting. He's going to take over for Bud Black. I thought that was happening tonight. Why the hell it isn't happening tonight beats the hell out of me. Just like everyone is beating the hell out of the Rockies. You can't sit here as a Rockies fan, as a baseball fan, and say that this team is anything but terrible. I saw some quotes about the Isotopes being able to field a better team. The Yard Goats having a better chance against Major League rosters because those guys might play as a squad. Those guys might play with some confidence. You know what? Their nerves might actually be up there. They might have some excitement level for playing in the pros. Putting on the purple and black or whatever it is. Thank God they weren't wearing their City Connect uniforms today. I don't know what it takes for something to change. I don't know what it takes for something to change in this organization. But in the last 5 games, they've been outscored 63 to 18. 63 to 18. I mean, this team is on pace to win like 28 games this season. Do you realize how low of a bar that is setting? The Chicago White Sox last year were playing into the last week of the season with the possibility to set the record for the most losses ever in a season. And they did. Spoiler alert, that record's not going to last for long, White Sox. Because the Rockies are coming. I mean, the White Sox beat the Rockies last year. I don't know if you all remember that. But they won the series against the Rockies. So you had to see that there were issues from last year on. I'm not going to tell anyone how to spend their money, what to spend their money on. I'm not saying it's not fun to go to the ballpark. I'm not saying that Coors Field isn't one of the best stadiums that I've been to. But if you want a quality product, if you want something better from the organization, you have to demand it. And how do you demand it from someone like Monfort? You don't go to the box office. You don't attend the games. You don't support. Can you support them in other ways? Of course. I'm always going to support the Rockies. I'm not going to support them financially, though. I'm going to watch. I'm going to continue to get hurt, but I'm going to hope that there's something else that changes in this future. And I see you, Camels and Penguins. Sell. I the Montforts will never sell if we are consistently giving them reasons not to. Filling the stadium, giving opportunities for them to charge $12 a beer, whatever it is now. I don't know. You have a catcher right now. I'll go into that in a second. I'll talk about the prospect line in a second and what's going on. I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated at the state of the Rockies. I'm frustrated at a team who, when I was a kid, if you all know the University of Denver area, that's the area I grew up in. Where the lacrosse field is used to be a baseball field. When the Rockies first came to Colorado, they held practices there, and basically their tryouts were there. A few blocks from my childhood home. I was there every day watching them. They continued. Actually, I had a passion for baseball, but what they did was they made that spark turn into a wildfire. That wildfire blossomed in me into the person and the passion that I have today for this game. And it's because of them that I love the game of baseball. And it's because of them in those early years and the Blake Street Bombers and the opening day home runs and the first batter home run, like because of the EYs, the Bichettes, the Walt Weisses. I mean, Nafi Perez was a little bit later. Andres Galarraga. I mean, all of these guys over the years gave me passion for baseball. You know, we're called undrafted, uncensored. I wasn't drafted. I was never talented enough to make it. But I still love baseball to the point that I'm playing to this day into my 40s. And I work hard because I love it. And there was a part of me that said that if I had some of this talent that any of these guys had, and I made it and had a shot, that I would give it everything every day. And I feel like I'm out here at 40 years old trying harder in a men's baseball league than some of these guys are showing. And I have more faith in our team to get hits than I do in the Rockies to go out and get hits. I've lost all faith in this ownership group. I've lost all faith in their moves. We're talking about this because I love Bud Black, but man, you got to change something. And he needs to be let go. You need to change it up. Clint Hurdle, you moved him into the hitting coach spot for him to be the next head coach. We all know this. If you've watched what's happening with the Rockies and know what's happening with the Rockies, Monfort fills his office and his front office and his staff with yes men. People who will do it the way that he wants it done. He doesn't want things shaken up. He doesn't want things changed outside of his comfort zone. And you know what? When someone comes in and says they want to do something different, like they did when they were trying to hire a new GM and they end up sticking with Bill Schmidt, who is going to end up being another fall guy, by the way. Bill Schmidt, watch out, because your head is on the chopping block at some point. We've seen it happen before. Hello, Jeff Bridich. If you go through these interviews and you come out saying, well, we didn't agree with what any of these other guys or with what any of the other options thought that they could do to fix this team. We didn't think any of their ideas were correct. We didn't feel like they would work. Well, tell me, what ideas have worked for you recently? Was it holding Zach Veen down in AAA for a few weeks to get one more year of service? Was it holding Chase Dolander down to get more service, which didn't even work? Well, might not work. Depends on his amount of starts. Is it having a catcher in Hunter Goodman be your leading hits, average, and I believe hits, average, and runs? Let me make sure I have that right. Um, hits, on base percentage, RBIs. Yeah, hits, OBP, RBIs, and batting average leader at 276. Catchers, Nick. Nick, you might want to close your ears for this. Our friend Nick Archuleta was a catcher, and he might hate this, but catchers aren't your best players typically in the batter's box. They're worried about the pitchers. They're worried about getting batters out. Their mind's on other things. Not that catchers aren't great. I love you, catchers. I love what you do. Trust me. The other day we played a game where we didn't have a regular catcher, and man, it's rough. I know it's rough. I've caught games before. That's probably why my knees feel like they're 60 instead of 40. A catcher, when you have the type of talent like a Michael Tolia, a Ryan McMahon, a Brenton Doyle, a Tovar who this year has, well, regressed. I mean, was it a fluke last year? I mean, Tovar, you got 0 home runs and 4 RBIs, hitting 212. Chris Bryant. Chris Bryant has played in less games. He guaranteed what, 185 million. I believe he's played in like 169 games for the Rockies. I'm gonna pull it all up. So I have just his Rocky stats. Whatever. He's made basically $1 million per game that he's played for the Rockies, or maybe it's like 100,000. I'm not gonna do the math right now. I'm too frustrated to do math. Whatever. 185 million divided by 167. Someone in the chat wants to do that. I'd appreciate it. I don't know why this team consistently. Yeah, $1,094 is what he's made per game that he's played for the Rockies. He's made $1 million per game that he's appeared in a Rockies uniform. Why does that not piss everybody off? The next time I see a Bryant jersey, because they tried to sell us hope and an aging star who was really damn good, but really showed a lack of ability after being traded to San Francisco, and then a complete lack of awareness when he comes to Colorado. And after 1 year, he says that, oh, I didn't really realize how bad things were here in Colorado. I just kind of woke up and signed the contract with them. As an organization, you hear that, oh, I just kind of woke up and yeah, they were the best offer, so I signed with them. I didn't really know how bad it was. As an organization, you hear that? Do you really want that in your clubhouse? Do you really want that type of attitude in your dugout? Do you want the players surrounded by a veteran who's like, oh man, this is pretty damn bad here? Things really suck. No, you don't. You don't want that, and you don't need that. Especially, you really don't need that around a very young, talented, but their talent could be gone because they could be mentally yipped. A young, talented, and very inexperienced group of players who I do think have an opportunity to do well with the with the Rockies. I feel like they are just getting I feel like what's happening to this team is that they're mentally out of every game. I feel like they don't feel like they belong on the field. I feel like this team goes into every game believing that they don't have a chance to win any game, any game that they set foot on the field. And that is the sign of a team that will never be successful. It's a sign of an organization who has let things slip through their fingertips for so many years and who have lived off of a past success. They're the high school football star who still and only still talks about those days, who has not done anything for me recently. This is a relationship where you had a great first date. Second one, okay. A few kind of, first one was like, all right, boom, this is it. She's the one. Second one, okay. Third one, you start to see some flaws. Fourth date, wow, she blew up on you. There was there were some issues. There were some underlying issues you're not quite sure about. You don't know what the hell happened. Oh man, but then she comes back and it feels completely different again. And then it goes back to what it was before in those second through fifth dates where it's like, I don't know about this one. It's a little too crazy for me. It's a little too crazy for me to continue to believe this team has any opportunity by doing these same things, by selling you a bill of goods that's never going to come. Everything is going to go bad. We have a segment, we don't do it often on the show, called The Corner Store. And in the corner store, it's basically buying or selling how you feel about the organization, or buying or selling different things. Right now, I'm selling all things Colorado Rockies. I am selling every aspect of this team because I sit here and I don't believe that no matter what the talent is, what the ability could be from the minor league system to the pros, all I feel like is that they're going to ruin it once they get to the majors with this team. Why won't management ruin the Rockies? Why won't management ruin a player's mental attitude? I give the guys a lot of crap because I always like Jurickson Profar. I know he's suspended now. But last year, All-Star, MVP, he had a pretty damn good year for the Padres after being removed from the tumultuous situation that the Rockies provided. So how are they not going to screw up another player? It takes sweeping change. I don't care. I don't give a rip if Monfort owns the Rockies. I do give a rip if he has his hands in everything anymore. Because the fact that no moves are made and no changes are happening after a 21-0 loss to the San Diego Padres, a complete game shutout where your team threw almost 200 pitches and the other guy, singular pitcher, threw 108 pitches in a complete game shutout, which hasn't happened since Andy Ashby did it. Oh, also of the San Diego Padres, which I mentioned earlier. And you give Kolek his second win. You give him his second win. This is a guy who is in his, second season in the pros. And last year, he threw a total of 46 innings. And he shut you out. He shut you out. He's thrown 13 innings this year. That means that he threw 4.1 innings in his other matchup prior to this game. What do you do? What do you do, Rockies fans? I don't have answers. But you got 5 hit by a guy who has 2 wins now this year, who pitched 4.1 innings in his last appearance, and he got a complete game 104 pitch shutout. And you only got 2 walks and 7 Ks. I don't have all the answers. I don't have any. Well, I'm not a smart man. But what I do know is that I'm over it. I'm over it. I don't even want to go to the free games that I get here in Colorado, and I love baseball. All I'm looking forward to is next month going to Washington to watch them get their asses handed to them by the Nationals. That's all I'm looking forward to right now. That's it. I don't know what to tell you. There's not a lot of hope. There's not a lot of fun. There's not a lot to look forward to with this team. And I wish I could tell you that there was hope. I wish I could tell you that there was something to be excited about. But I simply don't think that there's anything to be excited about. Nate, Mr. Hesser, I appreciate you, man, for chiming in over on Facebook. Thank you. Sorry I missed it a little bit earlier. Appreciate you, man. Love you, buddy. Speaking of love, I love y'all. I love y'all. Mom, happy Mother's Day. I love you. I know I'm in the middle of an angry rant. Maybe this will calm me down a little bit. Yeah, I guess this is me angry. This is me frustrated. I don't have the answers. I don't have the solutions. I have ideas. I have thoughts. I have things I believe the Rockies could do and should do in order to improve this team, in order to improve their chances in a wild west of Major League Baseball marketplace where they can't compete with the Dodgers and the Yankees and whatever. I'm not asking the Monforts to spend millions and millions of dollars and go into the luxury tax. I'm not asking them to do that. But you know what? I bet you if they did and the team was competitive and they put money into it, that stadium would be filled every damn day. There was a lot of people there, but it's not filled. It's not at capacity. The town doesn't have the same passion for the game of baseball that it once had because it's gotten an ownership group that has been complacent with complaining about what the other teams and organizations can't do rather than focusing on what they can do, rather than trying to take advantage of the altitude. They complain about it rather than find ways to make things work in their favor. They put things like the Bridage barrier up that prevents runs from going on the board. If you're worried about pitchers' ERAs, you gotta draft and develop stronger, mentally stable pitchers. And you have to give those pitchers run support. I see it all the time, even in my men's league. When you have a guy up there pitching and a team makes an error, if that team is error prone, kind of like mine is sometimes, that pitcher feels like he needs to be perfect because he also is afraid that the team won't be able to hit the ball because there are going to be more problems. And if he doesn't strike out everybody, then there's going to be another error behind him. And if there's another error, another run's going to score. And if the bats aren't working, he has to be even more perfect because the team isn't going to be able to make up for any mistakes that pitcher makes. See, it's a full circle thing. It's not just one piece that needs to get fixed. This is a confidence issue from the top to the bottom. And I'm tired of sitting here being angry about the Rockies losing when I know that they have a distinct advantage over other squads. And they're not using it. And they need to make a change. I thought that change was coming tonight. Apparently, Bill Schmidt, like I said, if you didn't catch the news, Bill Schmidt came out and said the team is trying hard. There's going to be no changes, and he gave a vote of confidence to Bud Black. Now, does that mean that that's going to change tomorrow after the 1:00 game finale against the Padres? Well, maybe if the Padres put up 37 and in a 6-game series against two teams, the Tigers and the Padres, the Rockies give up 100 runs, maybe that'll change things. I don't know what it'll take. Maybe they're just giving Bud the weekend and then it's over. But much like the Nuggets did, and I commend the Nuggets, it's not an easy decision to make going into the playoffs. But they fired Michael Malone going into the playoffs. Nuggets are in the second round. Many people wrote them off in the first round. The Rockies aren't destined for the playoffs. But you know what they are destined for? It's a change in leadership. It's a change in attitude. And it's a change in the organization. And the only way you're going to do that is by getting rid of and moving some people. Bud Black, I love you. I respect you, man. I really think you got a raw deal. And I'm sorry that I'm calling for your head. But something has to change. And if the Monforts aren't going to step down, and until Bill Schmidt becomes a sacrificial lamb, I'm going to call it the sacrificial bridage from here on out, then I think you're the next one on the block because these players are going to stay here. It's the whole reason why you kept them down in AAA to get another year of service. And it's the whole reason why the Rockies ownership doesn't trade players, because they think they'll stay here for some dumb reason. You know, at the end of the day, I still love the Rockies. I'm still going to watch them. But I'm not going to pay money to go and see them at Coors Field. I still won't. It's been 3 years, or this is year 4. Spent $13 there. I'm spending my money watching the Rockies on the road. And if you want to join me on my road trips, the next one, as I mentioned, will be out in Washington. Make sure to hit me up at Collins Anchor. You can find me on all the socials at Undrafted Uncensored. Like, subscribe, follow. You know, I had to get on and get some of this stuff off my chest, because if you haven't caught it yet, the Rockies lost 21-0. And this should be one of the darkest days in the Colorado Rockies franchise. But I have a feeling that that's just a daydream, because I think there's going to be a lot more dark days ahead as I wrap this thing up. I don't know what to tell you, everybody, besides that I love you. Thank you so much for interacting with me. Nate, much appreciated. Hitting me up on Facebook and the interaction there. You know, maybe they do need to hire you as a coach. I hear you have some availability. If it's you, Camels and Penguins, I know you probably don't like me much with my call for Crosby to become an AB member, but I do appreciate y'all chiming in, tuning in, everyone else, Noel, everyone else who liked and listened and subscribed. You really do, you know, you really are the reason why I do this, and I love you all. I appreciate you all. Even those with short fuses. I'm surprised it took me this long to blow up. Not really blow up, but, you know, the fuses finally gotten to the detonation point with this team tonight. And thank you for sitting with me. Thank you for going over this with me. I really can't say how much, like I said, I appreciate y'all. And I hope to be talking to you soon. Thanks to Michael Spillin, everyone over at E5280. I'm sure they'll be on tomorrow morning and they'll be discussing this too. Maybe I'll be on with them. I'm not sure. I got to get some sleep. I don't know. I'm kind of wound up. But we're going to go out with daydreaming, because the only thing I can hope for is better days ahead. That's it for me. See ya.